Hi guys, it's Sierra.
I'm Kara. We are League of Lit, and at League of Lit, we discuss books, movies, adaptations, and anything else we wish to talk about and tie it back to lit because we can.
Welcome to another episode of the Jules and Monty 10-year anniversary re-review.
It is an obnoxious title, we will admit.
And today we are talking about episode 4.
So I talked about it kind of briefly in episode 3, where talking about the title cards and how the photos are. I think the fact that they chose this one for episode 4, it gives you an idea of okay, we're going to be meeting more of the Kappas because they have their Clap for Kappa Alpha Psi shirts that they made. Fun fact, they were not originally supposed to be Kappa Alpha Psi. I think they were supposed to be Kappa Psi Alpha. When they made the shirts, they accidentally put the letters on incorrectly. And so that little mistake made it to where they had to change it to Kappa Alpha Psi, which just so happens to also be a legit fraternity.
Episode 4 is exciting. It starts exciting. We get Jules talking about this incredible kiss that she got at the Kappa party, and Nancy just trying to remind her that, hey, I turned the camera on. Please pay attention to that because this is going on the internet. You don't always want everything on the internet. I love that in this moment of passion with Jules, we get he kisses by the book, which is such a fun line from Romeo and Juliet because what book? And I love that Nancy even asks that. I don't know what books you've been reading.
It's fantastic. I love it. It's a great moment.
Nancy also lets Jules know that she can't see this guy again. And of course, Jules is very confused because why? He's attractive and he's a good kisser and I want to see him again.
Juliet has no idea who she danced with, who she kissed, no idea who this is. But somehow the nurse knows. Obviously, it's pretty obvious why Nancy would know because Nancy was at the party. But in the source material, I don't know that it's really clear how the nurse knows. Maybe I just missed where, the nurse was present at the party. But who knows? Not me, clearly.
But Nancy has to inform us that he's at Motel Gamma, which of course we could have guessed.
So now that lets us know, that's what Monty was talking about in episode 3. It gives Jules something to think about, but then she is tasked with showing us kind of how the night was and, Juliet being apparently a little technologically challenged, doesn't understand how editing functions. And, because she's like, put the footage in from the night and see how it goes. And she's like, how do I do that in something that's already going? Which it's fun, it's cute. It also sets things up for what's happening later, with the fact that this kind of gives us the impression that Nancy is really the editor of this relationship, which she does identify herself as the editor later on in the series.
We then get footage mixed in from the actual Kappa party that Jules herself took. We get to meet Cliff Kane, our Lord of Kappa, who is just incredible. And honestly, this part is played perfectly and amazingly. And there is nothing that says Lord of Kappa than reigning over your subjects as you tell them exactly what's going to happen at this party.
There are certain character choices that Cole, who plays Cliff, that he made that is okay, I can kind of see where it's maybe not, maybe he wouldn't be that kind of a person. He has some charisma that definitely draws people to him, but because because the role of Cliff is supposed to be Lord Capulet, and so there's certain things that are supposed to happen, but then there are other things where it's okay, clearly something is slightly off kilter with Cliff. Just a little bit.
We meet Pierre in this episode, who is just as charming and as French as we thought he was going to be. We do see a moment of Ty shushing him away from Jules and then realizing, oh no, Cliff wanted to set you up with this guy. Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And he probably would be, but I'm sure Ty will fix it because he's Ty. And when Jules finally decides she's ready to leave this party, she's done her appearances, she's done her duty as the sister of the Lord of Kappa, she's gonna leave. And suddenly, somebody bumps into her, and who could it be but Monty himself? what could possibly happen there?
I mean, it's like as we're kind of getting into it a little bit more, we've expanded our universe a little bit more with more characters, so we now have more names and faces that we've been familiarized with that will then influence kind of the trajectory. But officially, Romeo and Juliet have officially now met. And we know that they've met outside of Romeo being a little vague in episode 3 of like, oh crap, I did something I shouldn't have done. Thanks for joining us for episode 4 of our re-review of Jules and Monty. We hope that you are enjoying this, and we will see you next episode.
Stay tuned.
Thank you for tuning in to this very special League of Lit for the Jules and Monty 10th year anniversary.
Please make sure you follow us at League of Lit Podcast on Instagram and at League of Lit Pod on TikTok.
If you have any suggestions for an episode, please feel free to leave a comment on leagueoflit.tumblr.com.